Alright, let's see if we did any good with this thing. Fire in the hole, buddy. Bullseye.
On the bottom of the magazine, homemade version of a Magpul. Okay, but the magazine still had ammo. Okay, now we start with the black, the old magazine. Fire a couple of rounds with it, and then we're going to do another mag change, and this is where the fun starts. The magazine is not empty. Okay, we put the new Magpul in, and then I just went through the motions, but the bolt is closed, and it didn't reset. I didn't know what the deal was. That was the last round from the old mag, not the Magpul, or excuse me, the checkmate. And that's where the big fun began. I don't know if the cases are over length or it's the magazine. Just don't know. I do believe there are reloads. And you just watch. It just turns into a freaking nightmare. Now, with this magazine, it runs flawless until I do my next mag change. It just keeps shooting. It's functioning flawless. It's extracting, ejecting, reloading. I think I run this one completely dry. Zero malfunctions with this magazine. Okay, it's dry. Bolts locked open. This is the black magazine, the old magazine, the one I put the new spring in. Close it up, and this is where the real fun starts. You'll see me in a second. I'll notice when the trigger, okay, it didn't reset. And I'm thinking, what the freak? And it's locked in there. I can't get it pulled with just my finger power. I got to use the side of my hand or my thumb, the heel of my hand, to pull that one out of the chamber. Only in the black magazine, so I don't know if the magazine had something to do with it or if it's reloads or what the deal is. And I asked Jim if he wanted a shot at it, and he said no. He seen the problems I was having with it, and he didn't want no part of it. I don't blame him. All right. Work the bolt, chamber a new round, go back to it, and I'll notice again that the trigger is not resetting. It's not extracting and ejecting. So it's either the magazine giving me a smack or some of my reloads, the casers are a little long. And this will happen on a bolt gun also. I saw a video of Tibersaurus Rex's channel where he was talking about if you fire form the cartridge and only resize the neck instead of resizing the entire case, that you can have problems getting it to rotate the bolt and extract because it's forcing. I mean, the case is stretched to the exact limits of the chamber, and it just does not want to rotate out of there. So that may be what it is, but I'm trimming them to length, not unless I just had a batch to get away from me. I just don't remember for sure. But it'll fire a few times, and I eat the bullseye slap out. I'll try to remember to throw in this still photograph here at the end of the video and show you guys. But that was the end of that mag. It's the old mag. It's the followers rusted up and all, but that's the one I put the new spring in that last round. Look at it. I mean, I had to fight to get it out of there. But anywho, stay tuned. I've got some more observations I'll share. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. You saw what happened. The magazine that had the mag snatch, the homemade mag snatch, it is one of my new Checkmate magazines I've had for a couple of years now. They're new to me. Well, they're new. Well, I guess they're not new. They're about 6 years old now, but they're flawless. They work fine. Quit hitting me in the head, punk, or I'll bust you in the head with a rock. You see that? Um, but every time I switch to the black one, the original one. Now that one there is an original U.S. military contract magazine. It is old, and I put a new spring in it because there was a couple times. The first time I used that magazine, that the bolt closed on an empty chamber, so it extracted and ejected. But the weak follower, or the weak spring, didn't allow the follower to slide on up in there and push the next cartridge in line, and the bolt closed on an empty chamber. Now it's dragging on the bolt so much or something. I don't know. It's either that or I'll have to double check, but I think maybe one of the magazines was fresh ammo and the other one factory ammo and the other one was reloads, and maybe some of them were over length. So what I may do is pull them, every single one of those cartridges out, and measure the overall length of the case and go from there. Because if they're a couple thousandths over in a match grade chamber, you don't have as much wiggle room, as much tolerances in there. It's a lot tighter. And what it could be doing is, it's just like if you're reloading and using fire formed cartridges for a bolt action rifle. All you're doing is resizing the neck, and you're not bumping the shoulder back because it'll only stretch until it fills the chamber. The only problem with that is you reduce reliability. You can check out Tibersaurus's Rex's videos talking about reloading for a bolt action rifle and so forth. It will fit your chamber perfectly, and it'll stop the cartridge case from stretching anymore because there's no room for it to stretch. But you cut down on reliability because it gets very, very tight in the chamber, and that may be what the deal is. It may be, maybe I somehow or another did not trim those cases back to the length, and or maybe somehow or another they got by me, and I didn't, and I used fire formed instead of resizing the entire case, because I don't see how that's possible, because the only way to decap them, all I got some full length resized die. I don't have one just to redo the neck of the cartridge. It's gonna set it back and so forth, but there's no telling. There's no telling. Maybe that brass is getting a little long in the tooth and it needs to be discarded altogether. We'll have to look at it and inspect them really good. But it is like I was telling Jimmy today, reloads are fine to practice with, as long as you're careful and you don't overload them with powder and the primer is correct and so forth. But at the same time, you don't want to use that unless there's nothing else you can do. You don't want to use that in a combat situation, simply because you may have hiccups like this. You know, I haven't experimented with the reloading too much. I do it exactly by the recipe that's in the books and so forth. And if you want any reloading data, I suggest you find a Hornady reload manual, or Lee or Lyman, or any of the good ones. Dillon, they all have their own reloading manuals and all. And I never go out to max. Never go max. I always go start with the absolute minimum safe charge that is listed with the correct bullet weight for that charge, and work my way up to right under the max. And I'm using the data for service rifle, not standard 308, 7.62 by 51 millimeter NATO specs, from 150 grain up to 175 or 178 grain, which I haven't even bought any of those bullets to use. Max I've been shooting is 168, and the ones I was shooting today were all 150s. You can look at the bullet and tell which is which, really. Just the shape of the bullet and so forth, and the nose of it. But yeah, something to think about, something to experiment with. I had to change microphones. The microphone I was using wasn't worth a damn, so we're trying this little Trust, X Trust or some crap like that. It's probably made in China too, but it seems to be the audio quality is a lot better. But yeah, just experiment. Any of you guys out there who have owned M1A, M14 rifles or have had situations like this with reloads or magazines, hey, I'd appreciate any heads up. There's some parasitic drag somewhere, and when it's just absolutely refusing to extract, and it's so hard to pull it out of the damn chamber. That just seems to me like it's wedging it into the chamber. And this is not good because you could actually overpressurize the chamber, the brass, and blow the damn, possibly explode the damn case off or blow out a primer or something like that and destroy the bolt. So we want to make damn sure, but I mean, it's tight. You can see the pounding my hand took from it. That ain't bad, but I only messed with one magazine with all those damn malfunctions. And the Checkmate mag, flawless. So we're going to call that a suspect mag. Gonna set it aside and not use it anymore. And the next couple of tests, we'll try 2 different mags and go from there and make damn sure every other mag I've got is going to run flawless. But tomorrow, more than likely, unless Scout comes over and does some shooting with me, which he may, tomorrow, more than likely, we're going to do some reloading. So I may grab some brass here and begin prepping the brass and double checking all the brass. I've got the brass I shot today segregated from the brass that Jimmy shot in his new rifle. And I did just heard a car door slam, so that more than likely is Kimo. So I'm going to get off here. This is Mac Daddy 1911A1 with the Shade Tree Survivalist. Thank you very much for watching. Y'all take care, and y'all check back. We're going to have a new firearm with STS here very shortly.